for 32 years. And as you see him come by, Dale will be at the USAA. So you can meet him, get an autograph, and register to win. Taking off right now. Look at that, a short field takeoff of an airplane that weighs over 500,000 pounds when fully loaded. This is your United States Air Force's C-17 Globemaster 3. Now take a look, here comes Dale Snodgrass. The C-17, as you see in the video, there's Dale, and as you see in the video, is one whale of an airplane. It doesn't fly like a big plane, it flies more like a fighter. And the C-17 is going to be inbound in just a moment. The pilots are Major Joe Dingman, Captain Sam Todd. The safety pilot is Lieutenant Colonel Matt Bentler, and the loadmaster is Senior Airman Sean Barber. And they are from the 14th Airlift Squadron, known as the Pelicans, from McGuire Air Force Base in New Jersey. The C-17 is now inbound from the right. Take a look at the size of the C-17 Globemaster 3. It's the third in the line of Globemaster named heavy lifters for the United States Air Force, fully loaded. It can weigh over 585,000 pounds. The wingspan is 169 feet, 10 inches. It's powered by 4 Pratt & Whitney F-117 turbofan engines, each of which generates 41,000 pounds of thrust. I say it flies like a fighter because the pilots have sticks rather than big control wheels or yokes. The maximum speed of the airplane is over 402 miles per hour at low altitude. Amazingly, the aircraft can be flown by a crew of just 3 people. The 2 pilots and the loadmaster, because of its incredible ability and its roll-on, roll-off capability to move pallets on and off the aircraft very, very quickly, just 3 people can actually run it. The C-17 could be mistaken as a run-of-the-mill transport, but those who have been inside a C-17 never forget it. The high-tech transport has an interior like a giant cavern. It carries huge cargoes that can be turned around quickly thanks to that roll-on, roll-off capability. Now I want you to take a look as they approach for landing. They land at about 120 miles per hour. It is a huge wing. On the ends of the wings, you will see what are known as winglets. They are vertical parts of the wing. They stick just about straight up. Just to give you an idea of the size of this airplane, the winglets, which help with the aerodynamics of the airplane, are actually 9 feet tall. Joe Dingman and Sam Todd at the controls of the C-17 are now approaching at very, very low speed. The C-17 is the world's 3rd most expensive aircraft after the B-2 stealth bomber and the E-3 Sentry, the modified C-135 aircraft that has incredible radar and command and control capability. But let's take a look. With the breeze we have today, the C-17 is flying by now at less than 100 miles per hour. Remember, the airplane, if it were fully loaded, could weigh 585,000 pounds. That is a lot of weight, ladies and gentlemen. Let's watch and listen as they begin to power this up. Look at the flaps as they're extended in the rear. They'll suck them up, they'll power it up, and go on around. Accelerating away to the right. Let me tell you a little more about the engines on the C-17. These 4 Pratt & Whitney F-117 engines are the same engines used on the Boeing 757 jetliner. Each engine delivering over 40,000 pounds of thrust, and it allows the Globemaster 3 to carry over 170,000 pounds of cargo. The range of the C-17 with that amount of cargo is 2,400 nautical miles. That's nearly 3,000 statute miles. But the C-17 can reach anywhere in the world non-stop because it can be refueled in mid-air by either the Air Force KC-135 Stratotanker or the Air Force's KC-10, and there is a KC-10 down at the south end of the static display area. Now, accelerating from the right, Major Dingman and Captain Todd and Sean Barber and the safety pilot, Lieutenant Colonel Butler, I believe, are now accelerating away. Doing a teardrop turn. With about 45 degrees worth of bank there. The pilots also have what is known as a heads-up display, just like a fighter plane would have. It is actually a piece of glass in front of them and directly in front of the pilots' faces. And on that piece of glass is projected all the flight information they need, their airspeed, their altitude, their attitude, and other important flight information. Look at this minimum radius turn of an airplane that is so huge and so heavy. The 169-foot, 10-inch wingspan is actually almost 50 feet longer than the Wright brothers' first flight on December 17th of 1903. That flight, the first powered flight of an aircraft, which was done by Wilbur and Orville Wright down at Kill Devil Hill on the Outer Banks, North Carolina, was 120 feet and 12 seconds in length. Now let's take a look as the C-17 from McGuire Air Force Base, the Pelicans, setting up to turn final and do its tactical landing, its short field landing. The C-17 made its maiden flight in September of 1991. Since then, the C-17 has set over 20 world records, including payload to altitude and time to climb records. McDonnell Douglas originally built it there, now Boeing delivered the first operational C-17s to Charleston Air Force Base in June of 1993. When the aircraft touches down, I want you to keep an eye on the cowlings of these 4 Pratt & Whitney F-117 engines. What they're going to do, as we see the Geico Sky Typers coming by, they'll be taken to the sky in just a little bit. What these engines are going to do, the pilots are going to pull a couple of levers and reverse the thrust of the engine. In other words, making the power of the engines go out the front to help slow it down very, very rapidly and allowing it to land in as little as 1,500 feet. Here comes the C-17. You will see panels opening on either side of You'll see the panels opening on the side of each of the engine cowlings. Watch for the touchdown and watch for these cowlings to open and the thrust reversers to be engaged. Watch them, there they go. Watch them slower, 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 and they can stop so rapidly. In this one, just one. Back it up. See them? It's very, very easy. They're not tall. How about that? And you see, look carefully, you see the little white things being sucked into the engine. That is air that is being compressed as it situation. 41,000 plus pounds plus F-117. We've got a lot of humidity today. As you can see some here, kind of some of the fast movers fly by today. You'll see a lot of that moisture being squeezed together and forming clouds on the wings of the fuselage of some of the fast-moving aircraft. Now, watch it. They backed up, just like they would do in a combat situation. Simulated offloading of the gear, and now they'll head back. And I hope you'll join me in a nice round of applause for the men and women of McGuire Air Force Base and your C-17 demonstration. Let's hear it all the way up and down the line for them.